So has everybody had a good Thanksgiving so far in preparation for a good Christmas? Has anybody here eaten enough food for the holidays already? Yeah. No? Is somebody ready for more food to eat? Yeah, we've got some people. If I don't eat another thing of holiday food, I might have eaten too much already. One of the things that the holidays always has for us is this thing called leftovers. Anybody in here eat any leftovers this week? Anybody want some leftovers? We can find you some if you need some leftovers. You see, this leftovers is something that's prevalent throughout the holiday season. And don't get me wrong, I always love a good leftover meal. But if you're anything like me, you've had leftovers day after day after day after day trying to get through the Thanksgiving holiday season. But at the end of the day, leftovers themselves are exactly what they're called. They're second rate, and they are kind of the least desirable. There is nothing greater, when you think about it, than pulling a fresh, sweet-smelling, maple-cured ham, 10, 12, 13 pounds, opening the oven door after it's cooked all afternoon and pulling a fresh-tasting ham right out of the oven, setting it on top of the stove, and eating that ham immediately after you've pulled it out. Or maybe ham is not your cut of meat. Maybe yours is opening the grill, the top to the grill, and 14 ounces of pure ribeye steak. Having it cooked perfectly on both sides. Maybe medium rare on the inside, perfectly cooked, perfectly seasoned, from the grill to the plate. There's no leftovers after that meal. You see, this idea of leftovers is something that is not only a big deal in our society, or a big deal in my house, but it's kind of a mentality that's kind of plagued our society. Do you struggle with leftovers? Is leftovers a natural part of your life like it is my life? Is it a natural thing around your house to always have leftovers? Not a bad thing, but if you're anything like me, you come and you relate to God in the same way. If you ever find yourself saying this like I do, well, at least I give God something. Because in a world of extreme moral decay, in a world where our government seems to be falling and crumbling all around us, you, if you're anything like me, find yourself saying stuff like, well, other people are turning their backs from God, but I'm at least giving God a portion of my life. I'm at least giving God this year something that nobody else is giving God. But the truth today is, doesn't God deserve your best? Does God not deserve your best gift this year? And it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me. I'd be willing to bet that it's a struggle for you. There's a difference between giving God the leftover kind of gift this year and giving God your best gift. So what is the best gift you could offer this year? What is the greatest, the best Christmas gift you could give this year, this holiday season? Is it the coolest iPad? Is it the next and best? Is it a brand new car wrapped out in the parking lot? We could go through all kinds of the greatest gifts. But today, I want to try to dive into what truly is the best gift you could give for Christmas. So to do that, we are going to find ourselves in John chapter 13. And as you get ready and you move into John chapter 13, the best gift that you could ever provide somebody is a gift that is available and an opportunity that anyone and everyone can give. You see, some of the greatest gifts that this world says you can give, you have to have maximum amounts of money or skills or time, and everybody doesn't have those things. But the greatest gift that you can give doesn't require a certain amount of an annual salary. Your greatest gift doesn't matter how much money you made this last month. Your greatest gift that you can provide to somebody this year doesn't even require a certain amount of skills or talents and isn't even dependent upon your circumstances. And believe it or not, your greatest gift this year doesn't matter if you're over the age of 13 or under the age of 65. The greatest Christmas gift that you could ever give this year is something that's available for anyone and everyone to give. There's nobody today that's left out from giving this gift. Your greatest gift for Christmas that you could give anyone this year is the gift of service. The gift of service is by far the greatest gift you could give anyone this year. And to illustrate that today, Jesus, on the last night, before he would head into a treacherous set of days, the days that we would know as the crucifixion, the days where he would be crowned with thorns that would be pushed into his head that would cause him to bleed, the days that were coming ahead where he would carry 100-plus pound cross up a hill to die on, the days that were heading, that were going to end his life. And the night before all of this was about to happen, the very night before, he was sitting and he was having dinner with his greatest friends, his family, the people that he loved and cared most about. Put yourself in that situation. If you were going to have your last meal with your kids or your grandkids or your best friends or the people that you cared most about in this world, what would you do that night? What would you eat? What would you say? And for us, we have that recorded in John chapter 13. And the reason why I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that service is the greatest gift you could ever give, it's because this is what Jesus focused on in John chapter 13. This was the center focus of everything he talked about, showed, and called his disciples to. Of anything and everything he could have done, said, or showed, he chose this act of service. So if it was that important to Jesus, I imagine it's the best gift you could ever give to your kids, to your family, to your church family, to your community, to anybody and everybody. Believe it or not, the greatest gift you could ever give this Christmas is the gift of service. So hopefully you are in John chapter 13 already. And there's only 2 points today. The first point is this: will you let Jesus serve you this Christmas season? Before I jump into chapter 13, you have to know this. Unless you let Jesus serve you, your service won't ever mean anything. You can never serve the way that God intends for you, desires for you, wants you to serve this Christmas season, or any time for that matter, unless you have first let Jesus serve you. Start chapter 13, and we're going to walk through the first 8 verses. John 13, verse 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was about to come out of this world and to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. First and foremost, the best gift that Jesus could provide to you if you would let him serve you comes out of a heart and an attitude of love. So many times you and I try to serve out of a sense of duty. I have to, without a shadow of a doubt, serve, and so I do it because I have to. But the best gift that you could ever be given is knowing that Jesus serves and wants to serve you this season, this holiday, not because he has to, but because we serve a God who loves us unconditionally and loves us amazingly, and he, by no means, has to serve you out of duty this year, but Jesus wants to serve you because he loves you. Not because you're good or skilled or you're rich or you're pretty or you're kind or you're the best person in this community, but Jesus today wants you to know that he wants to serve you because he loves you. And the best gift of service always comes from a heart and an attitude of love. Chapter 13, verse 2. During supper, when the devil had already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray Jesus, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that Jesus had come from God, and he was going back to God. The best gift that Jesus could give you through service this year is knowing that he serves you even though you don't deserve it. You see, when it comes to Jesus serving the disciples, he didn't just serve the ones who were worthy of being served. Jesus served all. Even the ones, even you who don't deserve to be served this Christmas season. You see, service does not discriminate, but service is given freely to all because Jesus served those who may deserve and those who did not deserve. It's the idea of grace. The grace of Jesus comes to all people. It's universal and it's available to all. And this year, isn't it good to know that if you will let him, even though you do not deserve the service of Jesus in your life this Christmas season, the best gift you could ever receive is knowing that Jesus wants to serve you, being undeserving. Chapter 13, verse 4. Jesus rose from the supper table. He laid aside his outer garments, and he took a towel, and he tied it around his waist. You know, this may just sound like added detail in terms of the narrative, but listen, Jesus, sitting there about to enjoy his dinner, had on his clothing. And that clothing was dirty. It had been all day long catching all the dirt of the day. And Jesus was not about to take on the washing of the disciples' feet and cleaning it with a dirty, nasty piece of clothing that he had on. So what does Jesus do? He takes off anything on him that's dirty, and he goes and he gets a brand new clean, maybe even white, whatever color it was, it doesn't tell us, but he gets a brand new towel. And that is the towel that he is going to wash and dry the disciples' feet. You see, Jesus could have just washed the disciples' feet with the clothing that he had on, but it would have been dirty. And Jesus today wants us to know that he brings out the best, and he wants to serve you in the greatest and best way. He wants to get the best towel and the best linen to serve you, but you have to let him. Will you let Jesus serve you with the best that he has for you today? Because if you don't let Jesus serve you with the best that He has, you're not going to serve others with the best that you have. You will serve out of a sense of leftovers. And then the final point in this first one is this, verses 5 through 8. Then Jesus poured water into a basin, and He began to wash the disciples' feet, and He began to wipe them with the towel that was wrapped around Him, the new, the best, the cleanest towel. And He came to Simon Peter, who then said, Lord, do you wash my feet? And Jesus answered, what I am doing you do not understand right now, but afterwards you will understand. And Peter said to Him, you shall never wash my feet. And Jesus said, if I do not wash your feet, you have no share with me. You see, Jesus comes to serve, and He gives you the best gift of service that you will ever experience. But He often does it before you even understand what He's doing. You see, Jesus doesn't come to serve after you can intellectually put all of these things together. But you, by faith, have to let Jesus serve you this Christmas season, even when you don't even understand how He's doing or what He's doing. Scripture calls us to come by faith and say, Jesus, this year for Christmas, I want to let you serve me. But instead, most of us are kind of like Peter. Jesus takes off His outer robe, the dirty, nasty clothes that He has on, and Jesus kneels down to one knee, and He says, I'm going to take this clean towel, and I'm going to wash your feet tonight. And I'm going to dry your feet off with this brand new clean towel. And like Peter, most of us put our hands up, and we step back, and we say, oh, Jesus, I don't think I want you to do that. I don't understand why it is that you are who you are and I am who I am. Why I should let you wash my feet. And Peter almost misses out. And the question this Christmas is, are you going to miss out of the greatest gift that Jesus has for you this year? Jesus wants to come. He wants to serve you. And I don't even know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to look in my family. I don't know how it's going to look in my marriage. I don't know how it's going to look around my household. But Jesus wants to come. And He wants to dine and wash and serve me this year. And by faith, even not understanding how or why He wants to do it, I have to let Him do it, or I am going to miss out on the greatest gift I could ever receive this year. So the question is, will you receive the best gift that Jesus has for you? Jesus demonstrated what real service looked like. And He demonstrates real service so that He could get to the rest of the story. Starting in verse 9, not only will you let Jesus give you the best gift you could ever receive, but point number 2 is this: will you give the greatest gift this Christmas season? You see, if you're like me, you spent the last 2 weekends in the craziness of town and in the mall and in shopping and in spending money and in buying gifts and doing all of this stuff over and over. Because every year we have to buy the greatest gifts that we could ever think about for our friends and our family and our kids and our grandkids. And it seems like it's an unending, overreaching time of the season. It's a difficult time of the season for me to try to think about what is the gift that this person needs, or what is it that the gift that this friend needs or this family member needs. And believe it or not, the greatest gift you could ever give your children, your husband, your wife, your best friend, your coworker, your grandchildren, is to give them the gift of service this year. Look with me at verse 9. We're going to read point number 2, starting in verse 9. So Simon Peter says to Jesus, Lord, not my feet only, but I pray, I demand that you wash my hands and my head. And Jesus says to him, I imagine after he chuckled, the one who has bathed does not need to be washed except for his feet. But he is completely clean, and you, Peter, are clean, but not every one of you. For Jesus knew who it was that was about to betray him. And that is why he said, not all of you today are clean. Verse 12. When Jesus had washed their feet and put back on his outer garments and resumed his place at the table, Jesus said to them, do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and you call me Lord, and you are absolutely right, because I am. If I then, your Lord, your teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example so that you should do just as I have done for you. You see, Jesus says, listen here, I have just given you, I have just blessed your socks off, and I have just done something for you that you had no idea that was going to happen. And if you will first let Jesus serve you, and you will first experience the gift that Jesus wants to impart into your life this holiday season, then you now have the call to serve. You then now have the challenge to take the example of what Jesus imparts into your life. He doesn't impart it into your life because you deserve it or you did anything special to receive it, but Jesus steps into your life and He gives you service. He serves your life in amazing ways. It might be different than the way that Jesus steps into my life to serve. But when He does it not so that it can stop there. But Jesus steps into your life, serves you in amazing ways. Why? So that you can serve by example the way that He has done it for you. Look at verse 16. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master. The truth of the matter is, servants are not greater than their masters, nor is a messenger greater than the one who has sent him. You see, we live in the employer-employee world. We live in the male-dominated world. We live in a world that values power and authority. But Jesus is saying, listen, service is not about just the under serving the older, or the not so good serving the better. The truth of the matter is, the servant is not greater than the master. But the master, the teacher, can turn around and serve the servant. If you struggle with power, if you struggle with authority, if you struggle with needing to be the best and to have the last word, to be the smartest, to make sure everybody thinks highly of you, if you are a normal human being in this world, and all of you are, service is the only way to cure that. The disease of needing to be the greatest, to be the best, to make sure that everybody thinks highly of you, to be the top employee. In a world that values power and authority over all things, you have a special gift of service to provide. And here's the deal. You can try to find the greatest gift for your kids. You can try to find the next and best, powerful, greatest gift for your grandkids. And there's a good chance your grandkids probably already have everything they already need. Or your kids probably have everything they possibly need. And you will spend your days and your nights racking yourself trying to figure out, what can I give my kids that they will absolutely love? What is that gift that I could give my grandkids that will blow them away? And the truth of the matter is that if you have been served this year by Jesus, the greatest thing you could ever do is to find a way to tangibly serve your kids or your grandkids or your friends or your family members this year. And I promise you, it will be a gift that will bless their socks off. And the last verse is verse 17. If you know these things, blessed are you who do them. You see, the gift of service is the gift that is circular. So you give a gift and you serve somebody this year in a way that they would have never expected. And I could list off all those ways, but I think you know how to serve people. And if you were to do that for your kids or for your grandkids or for your friends or family members this year, you will be an amazing blessing to that person. If you had somebody over at your dinner table and served them the greatest meal that they've probably ever eaten, you are going to be a blessing to that person. If you did something for your kids or your grandkids this year that they have never experienced, you are going to be a blessing to that person. But here's the real truth. You are going to receive an amazing blessing from that. Because the gift of service is a circular gift. You don't serve and bless people so that you can be blessed, but it's a byproduct of serving people. It's a great blessing. It's one of the greatest blessings you'll ever enjoy in all your life. It's to serve people and to be a blessing to them. Hey, Larry, you mind coming up here just for a second? Come on up here, Larry. Hey, you can stand up here. Everybody know this guy? Yeah? He's been around long enough. Hey, I want you to know in the first 5 or 6 months that I've been here, that this guy has been one of the greatest blessings in my life. Many of you know, and some of you don't know, that this guy serves this church in a lot of ways that nobody even knows about. And he actually serves a lot of the people in this church in ways that people never even know about. And so for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I have been thinking about opportunities of just ways that I might be able to say thank you to Larry. Because Larry is a great servant to me in my life, and I think he's a fantastic servant in this church. And if you agree with me, shake your head. And if you don't agree with me, still shake your head, because it would surely make him feel good. See all those people shaking their heads out there?
Yeah.
So as I began to think the last few weeks, what's the greatest gift that I could give Larry? And I thought, you know what? Maybe I could go get him a gift card somewhere. So I've been asking him his favorite places. And then I thought, you know what's better than a gift card? Maybe I could take him to Lubbock and we could go to his favorite steakhouse and we could probably eat a great steak. Maybe that would be a fantastic. Larry, even though you can't tell it, Larry enjoys a good meal. Then I thought, you know what the greatest gift may be? Texas Tech is going to be in a bowl game this year. Doesn't always happen, but when they are, it's a good deal. Maybe I could take him to the Texas Tech bowl game this year. How cool would that be? I mean, he loves them Red Raiders. And I was preparing this message. And Larry, I want you to know that I am super grateful to get to serve alongside you. And I love you. And you are a fantastic person for this church. And I began to think about the greatest way or the greatest gift that I hope I could give Larry would be to serve him somehow. And so, Larry, if you will let me, I'd like to wash your feet, sitting right here. I know you would certainly love to have tickets to the Texas Tech Bowl game, and I could not find those. And honestly, I didn't even look for them. So if you will take your shoes off. Yeah. Maybe I could do that for you. Well, I did do that too.
You did.
And guys, as I do this, I want you to imagine that Jesus, and I'm by no means Jesus, that Jesus, the Lord of all, nasty because they didn't wear nice boots like Larry has today. And he would take the foot and he would say, this is the dirtiest and nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's been places that most people would never want to go. And he would take the disciples' feet and he would wash them up. And they would look clean. They would smell better. And you know what? They may have never been cleaned in the last month. And Jesus would take their feet and he would clean them off. Here you go. Put your shoes back on. And I could just imagine the disciples standing there, sitting there going, why are you, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, washing my feet? And as hard as it was for Larry to sit down and to let me wash his feet, it's hard to let Jesus come into your life and to wash your feet and to serve you this year. But the best gift you could ever receive is the gift of Jesus wanting to come into your life and to serve you this year. And if you allow that to happen and you allow Him to be the best gift in your life this year, then He calls you to serve through that example. He calls you not to give your kids the next iPad or to give them the best toy, but He calls you to give them the greatest gift you could ever give them this year. He calls you to give them the gift of service. So as we come and we sing a song of invitation, will you let Jesus challenge you this year